Okay, good morning students. There has been some actually technical overload of data in the portal. By now I think it has been fixed. If you have already submitted something in the portal, don't worry about it because I have already corrected and got back to you about that. You don't have to submit the past work. Okay, so whatever new we will be doing, you will be submitting that. Today we will start a new chapter in grammar, that is verbs. Okay, so I hope all of you can hear me, and mute your microphone. Okay, mute your microphone because I cannot hear you. There is no provision of hearing your voices, so there is no requirement for you to turn on your mic. Either you mute yourself or anybody can mute others. Okay, so let us begin the class. Verbs. Video is paused. Now everything is perfect. Is everything perfect now? Can you hear my voice? So let us begin the chapter verbs. We have been studying about verbs for a really long time, right? Since you have been introduced to grammar, you have been introduced to the concept of verbs. Verbs, as we have already understood what verbs are, they are words to denote some kind of action done by the subject or something which the subject possesses. It is used for a different number of purposes. The primary work of a verb is to denote the action, but many a times the verb might not be doing some action. So that is not the only definition. The definition which is provided in your book, in your textbook, I think that is enough for you. You can refer to the definition which is provided in your textbook of grammar and underline it. The entire definition is that a verb is a word that is used to indicate the position or condition of the subject to denote the action of the subject or what is possessed by the subject. Okay, so that is the definition of verb because it contains all the different aspects of what a verb should do. Okay, so let us start with transitive verbs. Transitive verbs are verbs which require an object to complete its meaning or to denote the action of the verb. Okay, it requires an object. It requires an object to complete its meaning. Okay, so there are a number of definitions which are given, number of examples which are given. Let us do one. Rita threw the ball at her sister. Okay, so this is the subject of the sentence. The verb, the main verb is threw, and the object of the sentence is ball because the action of the verb is indicating the ball. That is, the action is directly affecting what in the sentence? That is ball. And so this one becomes the direct object of the sentence. And sister is indirectly being affected by the action of the verb, and so sister is the indirect object. Okay. Direct object and indirect object, the definition has been given in your book itself. Okay. So, direct object and indirect object, the definition has been given already in your book. You can mark it. See, the object of the verb, what is the object of the verb? The direct object answers the question what, and the indirect object answers the question to whom is it affecting. Indirect objects are generally humans, that means persons, and direct objects are generally inanimate objects. Okay, so if there is one object present in the sentence, we will say that it is a direct object. Okay, but if there are two objects present, the first object which is directly being affected by the action which normally answers the question what when it is asked to the action of the verb, that is when it is asked to the verb, then you will get direct object. Okay. So, let us begin the first exercise. Let us begin the first exercise. Exercise number A, read the following sentences, underline the transitive verbs and circle the direct and indirect objects. Okay. So, do it in your book or copy. You will have to copy it in your copy later. If you want, you can write it in your book right now. Nalini paid some money to the newspaper vendor. Newspaper vendor means the person who sells newspaper. Okay. In this sentence, the subject of the verb is Nalini. So, this is the subject. What is the main verb? Paid. And what kind of a verb is it? It's a transitive verb because it requires an object. What is the direct object? Money. Money is the direct object. As it is directly being affected by the action of the verb. Or if we ask the question what to the verb, we get the answer money. And what is the indirect object? The newspaper vendor. Okay. He is the person who is indirectly being affected by the action of the verb, and so it is the indirect object. Okay. So, how will you do it in your book? You will underline it and you will just mark it. That means beside the verb you can write transitive, along with the object you can write direct or indirect. Okay. So, you can do it in your book for now. Later you can write it in your copy. Number 2, I wrote a letter to my mother. It's also very simple. Have you written it? Shampuna has a big question. Ma'am, in book under the transitive verb example, he offered dash beggar. Here beggar is also an object, but it is not mentioned. Why, ma'am? Is it not an object? Please say. Where have you found it? Please come, please follow the class, go with me. Okay, I know you are an advanced student, many of you are advanced students, you do a lot more than what is being done in the class, and that's a good thing. I am not saying it's a bad thing, but since we have a very limited time to the class, okay, let us proceed with the class. Okay. So, number 1 we have done already. I think you have copied the answer. Let me go to number 2. A number 2 is, I wrote a letter to my mother. It's also very simple. Let me discuss a few in the class and rest of it I will give you as homework. I wrote a letter to my mother. It is also very simple. Okay. So, wrote is the transitive verb. Letter is direct object and mother is indirect object, right? I think there is no confusion till this point. Okay. Come to number 3. She cleaned the house. She cleaned the house. You can add my along with it. It's just a possessive. If you want, you can add it. The object is always the object is the noun. Okay, only the noun is the object. Sometimes we add the article along with the noun along with it, or if we want, we can add possessive adjective along with it, since in your book it is sometimes given. Okay, like see the bag, the water bottle, they are also including the article, but remember object is always a noun, just the noun is the object. She cleaned the house. This is also very simple. Cleaned is the transitive verb. is the direct object. Okay. So the rest of the exercise, it's 10:22. Yeah, let me do 2 or 3 minutes more, then I will leave the class. Okay. So she cleaned the house, that is done. Let us do number 4 to number 10. Let us do it verbally. Okay. Please follow me when I tell the answers, because we don't have much time, right? So follow me. I think you have already completed the first exercise. Just match your answers along with mine. Number 4, he whitewashed the house today. Underline whitewashed, write transitive, and circle house and write direct object. Number 5, the teacher organized an excursion trip for the students. So underline organized, it is a transitive verb. Excursion trip or an excursion trip, the whole thing you can do, or just write excursion trip. Write direct object, students or the students, circle it and write indirect object. Number 6, Rabindranath Tagore wrote many stories. Okay, underline wrote, write transitive, and stories is the direct object. Number 7, the secretary dictated the letter to his assistant. So dictated, transitive, letter, direct object, assistant, indirect object. Number 8, the nurse gave some pills to the sick lady. Gave, transitive, pills, direct object, lady, sick lady or lady, indirect object. Okay. Number 9, Mihir drank milkshake in the evening. So drank will be the transitive verb and milkshake will be the direct object. Number 10, the mechanic repaired the washing machine. Repaired will be the transitive verb. Washing machine or the washing machine will be the direct object. Okay. So this exercise is done. Come to the next exercise. You have to underline the verbs and state whether they are transitive or intransitive. Okay. So before we begin, transitive verbs we have already understood what they are. Intransitive verbs are verbs which do not require an object to complete its meaning, but sometimes they might require some words to complete the sense of the sentence, and those words are called complement. Okay. So intransitive verb does not require an object to complete its meaning. Okay. So intransitive verb does not require an object to complete its meaning. Understood? Okay. So there are certain words which are added to the intransitive verb in order to complete the sense of the sentence. Those words are called the complement of the verb. We will come to the complement, I think in the next heading we will come to verbs of incomplete predication. Okay. But in the exercise number B, what do you have to do? Exercise number B, you will have to underline the verbs in the sentence and state whether the verbs are transitive or intransitive. Okay, so this definition is already given in your book, so no need to write it. Just underline the definition in your book, mark it. Come to exercise number B. Underline the verbs and state whether they are transitive or intransitive. Okay. So first sentence, caught, and this caught is a transitive verbs. Number 2 is not working. The entire thing you will mark as verb, okay, and it's an intransitive verb. Number 3, the old lady helped the little boy. And little boy will be the indirect object of old lady. Okay, that means helped. Okay. Next is, my aunt served tea to the guest. Served, transitive. Till number 4 all of you have written? Till number 4? Okay. Come to number 5. Number 5, narrated, transitive. Number 6, made, transitive. Number 7 is intransitive. Number 8 also intransitive. Okay, 7 and 8 intransitive. So with this we come to an end of today's class. I hope you have all understood this. Read the entire chapter on your own and complete it. Okay, complete the chapter on your own so that in class you can just simply ask me if you have any confusion. MF meaning? MF? Where did you find MF? MF Hussain, oh, it's his name. It's his name, MF Hussain. Okay. All right. Thank you, students. I'll be ending the class now.